Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad Brown. That's Joe Lissette. Hey, the names are right. Good
Excellent.
job, Jack.
Well, I mean, my name's been right every time.
That's true, but you've also been sitting in the same seat just about every round, too. I've been moving a
I'm
little
I'm
bit.
going to choose to believe that our director just feels it's
Oh,
important to get my name
okay.
right.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. So, we have a set of finalists. It's going to be Sam Black and Grant Wozniak. They will be playing Legacy first. So, as a refresher on how this is going to work in the finals, the higher seed gets the choice of player draw or format, and we expect them to pick player draw, but we do give them the option. In this case, Grant did choose to take the play, and in which case Sam gets to pick the first format, and Sam picked Legacy.
hmm So Sam then he's basically choosing which format he feels the best about going second in,
Correct.
and so he's chosen Legacy, and that seems reasonable.
It's reasonable because he's got the mana advantage with Mox
Mhm.
Diamonds and Nobles, but also that extra card does help you against Hymn to Turok.
hmm And also I mean, these are slower decks,
For sure.
so
An extra resource.
going
essentially.
second in a 10-turn game matters a lot less than going second in a 3-turn game.
Yep. So we've seen both of these players play their legacy deck at this point. So rather than go through the deck list, players are actually ready. And I know you guys have been waiting a while, so let's jump right down into it. All right. So Grant will be on the play. Now, again, our overlay is going to be slightly different as well. We've been putting the seed where the record is, but since we need to track game wins for the individual matches as well as overall match wins, we're going to put that at 0-0 right now. So the 0-0 will be the match wins, and the little dots below that, that will be your game wins. See what Grant. Now, Grant has to be real careful. He's had a few GRVs.
And the pace of the last round really slowed down because the players had warnings and they were kind of afraid. And actually, Grant devolved into announcing the stages of the turns in order to try and avoid making any mistakes.
Exactly, yeah. Grant turned into super careful Reed Duke, essentially. So here we see an Inquisition of Kozilek on the stack for Grant, and we see Windswept Heath, Flooded Strand, Wasteland, Dark Depths. I think that's a Knight of Reliquary. Yep. Tetiana and Oko. So what do you think he has to take here?
I think we're taking Oko. We have more things. We have Abrupt Decay, which kills both, and then we have Swords, which only kills the Knight. So I think we're taking the harder to deal with threat.
Makes sense. Sam really wants to have a 1-mana accelerant in this deck. He's got a lot of threes.
Mhm.
As we see, he doesn't have it. Likely kept, like you said, it's slower deck.
Mhm.
Also, these discards hurt even more when
Right.
you've mulliganed.
Yeah, I mean against a deck with him to Tark in particular, but also just the single target discard spells. I'm very willing to keep a weaker hand just so I have more total cards.
Unless you're Sam Black, who has the 1-mana accelerant on the top of
Came
his
off
deck.
the top.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's gonna be definitely helpful.
You think Grant would have taken that if that would have been in Sam's hand? And
That
instead of
depends on the
land?
rest of his hand. I think like if he had another Inquisition or Thoughtseize, then no.
Right.
But if he had a him, then yeah, possibly.
So there's a Baleful Strix. Grant will draw an extra card. Draws a land. And we'll likely see a pass back. Now that is going to mean Sam can deploy Knight of the Reliquary this turn. That's going to put Grant to the test.
Drawing
also
a
picked up
Wasteland gives
Wasteland.
him more options too. You might want to hold that for the Titania.
That's kind of
There's a lot of ways to go here. Okay, he's just going to fire it off. Noteworthy that Grant's deck does not contain Wastelands, so as opposed to some of the other rounds this weekend where we saw basically the Thespian Sage Dark Depths combo in Sam Black's deck really not amount to much, and just he never searched for it, it didn't really matter very much. This time, it actually might matter quite a bit.
Yeah, I could easily see this being Sam's strategy to win.
There's only 2 Swords of Plowshares in Grant's deck to blow that up, although there are several Planeswalkers that can deal with Merit Lage if it's not brought out at instant speed for an immediate kill.
Right on Grant's end step.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You're going to see a brainstorm in response to the second wasteland, which is going to prompt Sam to cast Once Upon a Time in response.
Baleful Strix, significant in this matchup for a number of reasons. One, it can buy a turn for Planeswalkers to be able to deal with Merit Lage.
Mm-hmm.
Also, flying is the easiest way to disrupt the Monarchy
Yes.
if Sam gets the Palace Jailer in play. Plus, Sam has, I mean, when it comes down to it, Sam's winning with larger green creatures. And 1/1 Death Touches work pretty well there.
Right.
Not maybe the best here. It's better against Tarmogoyf than it is against Titania, for example, which brings friends, but it's something.
So, looking at Grant's list, just thinking about these wastelands a little bit, he's only got 1 scrubland, so that's notable. He's got 2 underground seas and 1 volcanic island, so he's got to be a little careful. Also, he obviously has astrolabes, and he has a bayou as well.
Yeah,
So,
and also he did receive a warning last round for fetching, I believe it was Volcanic Island off of a Verdant Catacombs, so he needs to
be careful
he
on how
needs
he's
to watch
using
out for
these
that.
fetch
Yeah.
lands. Yeah, a lot of one-of lands in the 5-color deck. And these wastelands, plus like if a Life of Loam ever comes up, he can start wasting
Yeah, that's true.
Grant out of a lot of lands here.
Yeah, there are 2 basics in the deck, and Grant has a lot of spells that cost more than 2.
Yeah.
Although the Noble Hierarch bites it here, and now Sam is actually
Stuck with a lot of 3-drops.
Doesn't quite have an abundance of mana here.
Yeah. And there's another 3-drop off the top, copy of Oko.
So we talked about that another reliquary that he could have played on turn 2 and went with
Right.
Wasteland Plan instead, and now I think we're on turn 4 and we still don't see it, because based on what has happened.
Well, what's interesting to me is had he played the Knight, right? He could have wasted, activated Knight a couple times, gotten more wastes if he
Conceivably,
wanted. Yeah.
and then both players would be basically on empty. Although if that had happened, then the Fatal Push that took down what killed the Noble Hierarch?
Not sure.
Whatever it was, it would have killed the Knight instead, probably. It was an Abrupt Decay,
Abrupt,
yeah.
oh, that's right.
So then, in that case, things would have proceeded slightly differently.
So answering a few questions here in chat, the winner gets both an invite to the Pro Tour as well as an invite to our 2020 championship.
In addition to a reasonably large amount of money.
Yeah, yes. The total prize pool between first and second is $32.50. I don't remember the exact breakdown. I think it's $1,000 to second place, $1,500, something like that.
All right, so both players getting their mana somewhat stabilized here. Dark Depth's not producing mana, but certainly a threat.
We're gonna Swords the Noble.
Wow.
And Sam's going to need a land to cast any of these 3-drops. There's a Green Sun Zenith, which he can get Dryad Arbor with, or he can cast it for 1 and get another Noble if he'd like. Which is better on average in this situation?
I would say Noble because we don't currently have blue mana.
Sure.
Even though we can fetch up Tropical, which takes care of that. But we don't. I like the idea of leaving the Dryad Arbor in the deck in case we need a surprise blocker later on.
Sure.
I don't know how likely that is in this matchup.
Right.
But I think that's the choice I would make. Although drawing Noble Hierarch is probably better than drawing Dryad Arbor, just on a given turn.
Yeah.
That's actually Sylvan Safekeeper, I think.
It is, yeah. Let's pull up Sylvan Safekeeper on the screen.
So this is, given the land situations, I don't know that Sam's going to be all too enthusiastic about using the ability, but it is going to save something like the Knight or another card from being bounced with Teferi or by being killed. And there are no sweepers in Grant's deck, so Safekeeper will be able to, keep things on the board through all the removal that Grant's able to muster.
Yeah, this leads me to believe he is thinking about this Dark Depths combo.
Although it's still going to be the Baleful Strix being in the way will be a nuisance. I guess it doesn't matter so much if it gets chump blocked if you can protect it from the Teferi bounce anyway.
Right. Grant's going to go tick up on the Teferi instead of bounce the Safekeeper. Leads me to believe he's got some type of draw spell.
Or even, I mean, bounce
Or
Safekeeper,
draw face spell.
or reset the Baleful Strix also would be another thing that conceivably could happen.
Grant does have a him in his hand. Deciding to.
We can see that right now. Although I would think we'd have seen a draw step if he was going to. Yeah, he's going to do it.
He also has a Snapcaster Mage. So he could snap him the last card out of Sam's hand if he wants.
Well, that's where he got himself trouble last round, is with he had Teferi plus, Teferi plus, Teferi plus, then Teferi minus, snap him on the opponent's turn, and that didn't work, obviously. But, okay, so we lost an Oko and his swords, I believe, leaving with Sam with one card?
It was a Oko and I think a Knight.
Oh, okay. All right,
And I think
Oko and a Knight.
Titiana is the last card in Sam's hand. I think he flashed it to the camera.
Yeah, well, that is quite good. Okay, so we're not going to snap him on
now
Sam's.
we can do it in the
Oh,
main
you're right.
phase
That's true.
and take out the Knight as well.
You were right. Although that got countered.
Yep.
If that had gone through, that would have been a very strong position to snap him main phase. Now we can't do that. Now we denied the card draw from the Teferi. That didn't go especially well.
The question is,
Although we did manage to kill the Dark Depths without a Wasteland, and that's something that's difficult to do.
yeah. Sam is going to have access to this Knight of Reliquary this turn if he would like it.
Yeah, because it's not going to be wanting to attack into Baleful Strix, probably.
Right.
1, 2.
What is he going to go get? Does he
So
go
we
get
could
Thespian
we could
Sage?
float mana and then sacrifice it and get Cradle and have 5, I believe, for Titania if that was the last card in his hand.
Okay. Doing the math here. I think that is Titania. He also picked up a Green Sun Zenith, which if he has other options he might want to do. So green floating. Like you said, Cradle would net 2 mana, and then he'd have pretty good protection against anything Grant can do.
Yeah.
I think Titania is probably his best play.
Titania into Wasteland you and get a 5/3 is.
Right. Well, he can also start sacking.
Yeah.
So we do see a Force of Will. So
And there
Grant,
goes the Snapcaster Mage.
A little fortunate.
So now Grant down to 1 card. Does the Safekeeper attack here? I think that's reasonable because Sam's not going to really want to sacrifice more lands anyway. So attacking into Teferi going 4/3 is significant.
The thing is, I think I blocked. It gives hexproof or
Yeah. No, I mean it could be blocked for a trade.
Right. I think Grant would want that.
Yeah, and then bounce the Knight.
Bounce the Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And actually, it couldn't even currently be recast. So I suppose that would not work. I'm just trying to think because the Knight is so hindered by the Baleful Strix being on the board. I don't think we have a Sajiri step in Sam's deck to be able to get past that either.
Sam is going to sack Wasteland. And then we're going to cast Jace. And now I'm thinking Jace is going to try to bounce the Knight. We're going to sack another land is the question. Now, like you mentioned, Sam can't recast this Knight currently. He would need another land. And that's a tough decision.
This fell apart pretty quick. I mean, Grant has played several powerful Planeswalkers, and that tends to happen.
Yeah.
And the Teferi's been on the board for about 5 minutes at this point.
And sacking does happen. So Sam with access to 2 green mana currently. Now a 3rd mana. He can Green Sun for 2 if he'd like.
Well, Green Sun for 2, and then Safekeeper attacks Jace, and I mean, that's not great either. Because the Knight's still going to get bounced.
Is there any value?
What is Sam going to do here?
That's a great question. It's a great question. We will wait and find out. So he's got 3 mana available. Can get Scavenging Ooze. Another Noble to develop his mana.
Yeah, that would be okay.
He could also get Dryad Arbor, which gives him like another land to sack if he wants to go that route. But he's not answering this Jace by the looks of it to me. He also has Bojuka Bog. Just as something we need to remember, he could go get at instant speed to help interact with that graveyard. So we float a white.
You know what would be good is Oko on the Baleful Strix, so the knight could attack through it.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing that. We don't have any blue mana. This is a very slow start. It appears that Sam didn't have a target in mind necessarily when he sacrificed, because he's considering his options while looking through his deck.
He's gonna get a fetch land and fetch. Help thin. If he wanted, the Dryad would be free. So this is 4 mana, green sun for 3, I believe.
Dry River would be free, but would leave us without white mana. Okay, there's Tracker. Okay, that's nice. That makes sense. This still feels precarious. Like,
It does mean Grant, if he wants to bounce with the Jace, he would lose it the following turn unless he can find something, because there'll be enough attackers to attack into the Jace.
right. But that still means Baleful Strix gets to trade for something,
Yeah.
and Sam would also be down another land.
Right. I mean, Sam also is getting to the point where, he's got 3 creatures on board, so he can like float a white mana, sack the land, get a clue, pop a clue. Maybe he can start generating card advantage that way. He does need to get this Jace off the battlefield pretty quick, though, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen though.
Palace Jailer would be a great draw for him.
It would. Yes, Palace Jailer would be good, because at that point we could okay, here's the attack to trade with the Strix.
And Sam's assuming this is going to happen. How much do you care about instant speed with Teferi? I almost let it go, yeah.
No,
Oh,
okay,
we're
he gets
gonna block.
blocked. Okay. So I think now I feel like Sam is at least there's some hope.
So we're going to brainstorm.
Mm.
There's a Drown in the Lock plus the swords. Holy gosh, that was a good 3 cards. I don't want to swear on stream. But
Yeah, long weekend. Your discipline almost failed you.
Is that what we call the nuts? Feels like what we call
I don't. Did we have neither one of those when we brainstormed?
We had neither one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
now this guy's cradle taps for
Yeah.
nothing.
Now we're sitting on a plane. We can't even. Oh my! This is done.
Yeah, I think Grant is firmly ahead, and based on the draw, we could see a concession from Sam here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 1 in the books.
Yeah. Kind of what we talked about, though. I mean, there are only a few threats in Sam's deck that Grant needs to answer immediately, and as long as he had an answer for them.
Baleful Strix mattered a lot that game.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I mean, Baleful Strix as a threat doesn't mean much, but Baleful Strix standing in front of Planeswalkers, and there was no Questing Beast. If the Questing Beast had come out, things are very different.
Yeah. Interesting to think if Sam would have maybe got that knight online before using all his wastelands. I mean, typically when you waste, you want to waste as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Grant was fortunate enough to have enough lands to kind of draw out of those wastes. But let's take a look at Sam's sideboard. We have 2 Collector Oof, 1 Gaddock Teague, 1 Knight of Autumn, 1 Palace Jailer, 1 Teferi Time Raveler, 2 Spell Pierce, 3 Veil of Summer, 1 Savine's Reclamation, 1 Deafening Silence, and 2 Rest in Peace. So clear winners for me are Veil of Summer. I like the Savine's Reclamation because a lot of your permanents are going to get destroyed. The Palace Jailer seems good. The one I would assume is Teferi Time Raveler as well. I mean, there's a lot of cards here.
There are. Yeah.
Spell Pierce, it's almost too much. It's
well, let's count. So Reclamation is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Veil, that brings us up to 4.
Yeah.
Teferi brings us to 5. Palace Jailer 6.
Yeah.
I think those are better than the Pierces, but I think you could bring the Pierce in also, which would be 8. Whether Sam has 8 cards he wants to take out, I'm not sure, but I feel like he could bring in 8 if he wanted to.
The 6 seem like obvious.
Yes, I agree.
To me. I think the Spell Pierces are where it can get a little iffy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to counter back, or do you just want to try to protect your own
Right.
permanents?
And because for the most part, Veil does counter back because it's discard spells and it's Force of Wills, and Veil covers both of those.
And on Sam's main board, he's got some like Swords of Plowshares. Is like Once Upon a Time ever a realistic cut in a deck like this?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Okay. Like it's kind of like it's just like a tutor effect.
I mean, it gives you more selection. It
Cool.
gets you. I mean,
But if you've streamlined your deck to
Yeah.
the
yeah,
way you want it to be, maybe
Mhm.
you can cut those to bring in these more powerful cards.
Maybe. I definitely think he'll find room for some of those cards.
Sure.
Though, yeah.
Now on Grant's side, we've got a Leovold, one Plague Engineer, which I certainly think's coming in. Liliana the Last Hope also seems quite good against a lot of these mana dorks. Hydroblast, not really a card he's gonna want. Two Pyroblast, two Swords to Plowshares, one Veil of Summer, two Force of Negation, a Nile Spellbomb, a Sylvan Library, and two Leyline of the Voids. What do you like here?
I like the swords primarily.
Okay.
I think those are the best cards he has to bring in.
Yeah.
I think we might see one or both of the -1/-1 effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident we'll see anything else. We could see ley lines. We could see Sylvan Library. We could see Nihil Spellbomb. Actually, I think Nihil Spellbomb probably comes in.
Just to counter
Just
the night.
life in the Life from Loam and things
Sure.
like this. Because it's not coming at the cost of a card like the ley lines are.
Sure.
I don't think we'll see.
My question is it really repeatable though? Like
No,
Knight
yeah.
can like sack and grow,
Mhm.
and Sam can kind of play it slower, and then
Sure.
he has to force the Nile Spellbomb, and then he can regrow the Knight. Obviously, that's a lot of time, but if you're facing the Loam package and the Knight package, is it better maybe just to have the two ley lines?
I mean, maybe. And maybe he'll bring in all three. I don't know. But I feel. Well, I feel like the Spellbomb's more likely to come in, but yeah, maybe they all do.
Well, I think it's you have to judge your
Mhm.
removal package as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah.
if you can just answer the Knight, you don't really need the Graveyard Hate.
Yeah.
Unless you're worried about the Loams
Mhm.
specifically.
So what is Grant going to be pulling out to bring in these cards? There's not too many cards we're going to be bringing in. Even if we bring in all that we discussed, it's not that many. I think it'd be 5. Sylvan Library maybe, but Sam, it's not. Sam might be okay.
Personally, I'm cutting all of the forces.
I'm okay with that.
Veil's coming
Yeah.
in, like you don't want to 2-for-1 yourself, and then it get countered by Veil. So I think I'm cutting all the forces. That's like my first.
I'm
cut.
okay with that.
From there, it gets a little harder. I also think Teferi Time Raveler is nice, but it's also not like at its best here.
Mhm.
So I could see cutting those.
Yeah. Well, that would be 4+2. That would get all the cards we talked about
Right.
already.
So I think that's where I would start.
Mhm.
I don't know what his final cuts. He might
Yeah.
trim some things.
If he wants to cut the last Teferi, he could bring in the Liliana, for example, which might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Might be. Not that I'm confident it is. I mean, Plague Engineer, too, trades off with... I mean, we saw Death Touch was very important in that game.
Yeah.
Plague Engineer can pick off Noble Hierarchs and then trade with something else.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
I mean, there aren't a ton of X1s where Liliana is going to be great,
no.
but yeah, I mean, maybe it's not good enough. I do think if you get the opportunity to like block with your Baleful Strix and then minus and get back with Baleful
Yes.
Strix, that's pretty powerful.
Yes, it is.
Same with your Plague Engineer for that matter.
Yeah.
So that might be something to consider. Those two cards seem to be a very good combo to me.
Mhm.
The Plague Engineer plus the Last Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at 2020 for our overall
Yeah. I
seasonal
mean, if you're
schedule
watching
for
this
season
event,
one.
maybe you're watching this event, maybe you think to yourself, I want to play in this event next year. This is how you do it.
So 2020, we're basically doubling everything. Right now, we do one event a month. Next year, we're going to do 2 events a month, 1 weekend, 2 events. So our next one's going to be January 11th and 12th in Gurnee, Illinois. That'll be at the water park that we've been to like 3 times now.
Why not keep going back?
So Saturday will be a $5,000 trial in Modern, and Sunday will be a $5,000 trial, which will be Legacy. And again, that will be January 11th and 12th in Gurnee, Illinois. And then looking forward, February 15th and 16th will be Pioneer and Modern. March 21st and 22nd will be Team Constructed, which will be Eternal. So that'll be Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. And then our Sunday event will be Pioneer. And then lastly, April 4th will be our Season 1 Showdown, followed by our Season 2 First Trial, which will be Modern on the 5th. And yeah, like we talked about, doubling the prize pool. We're going to give it over $150,000 in total prize money. 3 Pro Tours invites. Those will happen during our showdowns, and then that'll culminate in a 16-player, $20,000 championship next year. So we're doubling that prize pool as well.
That's big time.
And reducing 8 players. So
Yeah.
even more payout for
Yeah,
the
I
best
mean,
players.
that's over $1,000 a player average payout on the event. That's great.
So if you want to find out more about that, you can hit that bit.ly link at the bottom. It is case sensitive, or you can head on over to nerdragegaming.com and check out the information. Also, if you're looking for deck lists from this event, you can find those over at nerdragegaming.com as well. Players are taking their mulligans. You can head on over to our social media. It's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all of them at NRG Series.
I almost want to give you a hug for saying social media. My previous round, afternoon partner declared it was social medias, and I took up arms against that one.
I mean, media is both singular and plural, I
That
believe,
was
right?
my feeling on
Yeah,
the word, yes.
I'm pretty sure that's the
Yeah,
case.
I believe it is.
So we appreciate all of the support from all of you this weekend. Our viewership has been extremely positive. We're extremely thankful for all of the new subs and the new follows. And, we really couldn't do this without you. I'll be honest, it's not cheap to do coverage. It's not. And I'm not trying to beg or borrow money or anything like that. I'm just saying it's some work. And
A lot goes into this.
we love doing it, and we appreciate all of the support that you guys are giving back.
Okay, well, Grant up a game perhaps feels like he took advantage of Sam Black, is going to go ahead and give it back and by going to 5 cards this game.
Well, one hymn to Turok, one good hymn to Turok can definitely take. So while he's shuffling up for this mulligan, let's take a look at Grant Wozniak. 25 years old. He's an architect. I have something I want built. Maybe I'll reach out to Grant. Hometown, Waukegan, Illinois. He qualified via an at-large bid. He was 11th overall on the leaderboard. He's got 1 CT top 8, 0 CT wins. Medium record versus the field, but not the worst we saw all weekend.
A medium record is solid. I mean, this is an accomplished group of players here, and if he's nearly breaking even against them, that's fine. Obviously, if we include this weekend, he's going to be significantly above 500.
Yes. So fun facts about Grant here. He was an all-conference golfer in high school. Cannot stand eating salads because of the texture of lettuce, and regrets sinking thousands of dollars into shiny magic cards.
Well, that's the thing. If you are in a situation where you regret sinking thousands of dollars into shiny cardboard, Nerdbridge Gaming might be willing to undo that for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the things that this company does.
Yes, we do buy cards. We also give a bonus store credit based on how much cards you sell us. And we keep track of that. So if you sell us $1,000 in cards over the course of a year, you'll earn a little bit extra store credit if that's something you're interested in. Again, you can head on over to nerdragegaming.com for more information. Now, Sam is ahead on mana, unless Grant wants to force this, which I can't ever imagine. A, that they're in the deck, and B, that you would force this.
No, we did see a once upon a time from Sam get dazed on turn 1 a couple rounds ago,
wow.
but that's different on multiple levels.
You think Sam's okay with that, or should he have cast it in his opponent's upkeep?
I think that was I don't think you would do that because seeing your first card drawn for the game might impact what you would choose.
Sure.
I think it's possible that you would play your land first.
Oh, okay.
But I also think
right.
Let's just hypothetically scenario where, because your opponent's not going to know what's going on. If you have a Noble Hierarch and a Once Upon a Time in your opening hand, which one would you rather have dazed?
Right.
I think it's the Once Upon a Time.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think leading with that, and also by playing it before playing his land, it's more likely that it will get dazed in the first place.
Sure. So Sam's going to lead on Noble Hierarch for his first turn. Grant's going to play the Astrolabe, draw a card.
And his second turn.
Here's a second Hierarch, but no second land. He has a Mox Diamond in his hand, but that's not good enough. Now he could, looks like he has a Green Sun Zenith. He could cast this for 0 and go get that Dryad Arbor. Looks like that is going to be the play.
So he'll be able to put a mana base together this game, but the Mox Diamond is going to sit in his hand as just a worthless card. Maybe it'll get hit by him, too.
I was going to say Grant has a him. Maybe,
okay.
Maybe it'll get himmed. Sam's going to be feeling pretty good if it does get randomly himmed out of his hand. All right, so there's that Dryad Arbor. Sam putting it in with the creatures, which I appreciate.
I think that's actually tactically what you're required to do, but most players aren't too keen on all the minutia of how cards need to be represented on camera.
Well, I think MCs have
Mm-hmm.
requirements, but I don't think there's like an MTR requirement.
Oh, that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we do see a second black source counting the Astrolabe, so Grant can fire off a him here and get some of his mulligans undone.
All right. And there's that him.
Now, that's something, I don't know if everyone feels that way about, like for myself when I'm playing, if I mulligan and then, let's say I ham or, something like 2-for-1 happens, I really do think to myself, okay, cool, I undid the mulligan. I don't even know if that's really an accurate way of portraying what happened, but I do think that to myself while I'm playing.
I tend to I tend to think that way as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of thinking, well, I got a little bit of advantage back, I tend to think, well, my mulligan was kind of undone. So here we see the him snagging Veil of Summer and Palace Jailer.
Yeah,
two
that's
huge hits.
that's
The Mox got missed.
that is painful. And yeah, one that we missed the Mox, and two, if Sam thought about playing that Zenith, if he hadn't, that Veil of Summer would have countered the him.
Right, and then he tried to follow it up with an Oko, but that Force of Will did stay in and was able to snag the Oko. So he got a 2-for-1, and then he got 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's a bad way to be.
So
Both mulligans undone for Grant.
Yeah.
And then here we have from Sam, Zenith. I was thinking, is this Questing Beast? Because that would be real strong.
Well, it's X's 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So probably Tireless Tracker.
There it is.
And I think he has a fetch land to follow it up. If he has a fetch land, it'll be interesting to see if Sam immediately fetches. Something like a Drown in the Lock would be able to kill this.
And the situation is, I find I would generally not fetch here. I would wait and see if I can hit another land drop next turn.
Right. Especially in Legacy where you don't have to worry about shock lands.
Right.
Looks like Grant is
Grant's
going
to fire off swords, and then so Sam will get the second clue.
Well, one of the reasons Grant might be doing this is if he has like a land in hand, maybe he wants to draw Jace so he can play it, or some other 4-mana spell, or even a 3-mana spell. Now, in these 5-color control decks, I've always thought that some number of True Name Nemesis was like just stock. And Grant registering 0 copies of that card. What do you make of that?
I think
A is my assumption wrong.
I think it's okay to not have any, and like for example, like we also have the Leovold on the sideboard.
Right.
I feel like we're either gonna have a couple different creatures main deck, like a Leovold and a couple True Name or something like that, or nothing, and we have nothing here. Things have changed. Like your opinion is also probably based on pre-Oko days.
Sure.
And so we just have a different powerful card that fills the 3-mana slot.
Right.
And I don't even think our blue-red Delver deck had True Name Nemesis in it today. It had Arcanist, Delvers, and
It was a little bit more low.
no, I'm sorry, maybe it did have True Name Nemesis, but
I think
yeah,
it had 2 actually.
yeah, I think it did also. But yeah, I'm not at all surprised that Grant doesn't have them here.
So we see that the swords will take out the tracker, and then Teferi came down and bounced one of those clues just to prevent the life gain, and then we're gonna see a snap swords on the Knight of the Reliquary, and Sam's gonna gain looks like 4 life.
Well, I don't think you'll be too enthused about the 4 life, but we got we're using cards up, I guess. All the
Sam's last cards are Mox plus land. So we will start by sacking the clue token. Picks up, I think, an Oko. I think it is an Oko. Yep.
That is pretty good.
That's a way to start.
Okay, so what are we doing here? We're making the dry darter bigger? No, we're making the food. Okay. And then attack for 3.
Yeah. Or we can try to defend the Oko.
I wouldn't be too worried about that.
Yeah,
the
me too.
Snapcaster Mage, if the Snapcaster Mage attacks Oko and then we get to attack back whatever we want, I think that's pretty good for us.
Right. But at the same time, the longer the Oko stays on the battlefield, you're so far ahead.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
because it's 3,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like this deck attack a lot. If it was 1, then maybe I'm with you and we don't consider hacking.
Something
here,
to consider, though, is like if he attacks with an Elk next turn, it's a 5-powered Elk.
Yeah.
And so it's still a 3-turn clock. Depending on how, Grant blocks.
Sure.
Something to consider.
Yeah, we also could have attacked with a 4/5 this turn by Elk and the Dryad Arbor.
Sure. And then that might have been the play.
That,
Having the mana
yeah.
in a
No.
green Sun Zenith deck though.
Yeah,
Pretty-
and also
pretty good.
that means if we're a Plague Engineer came in and names Noble Hierarch, then we really
True.
splashed our mana.
True.
No, I'm pretty fine with what happened here. I liked him attacking, but making the food is fine. If there is an Abrupt Decay to pick off the Oko, that's unfortunate. But I think even in that case,
you're still attacking for 3.
Yeah, we're still attacking for 3.
Yeah, and you're at 25. You don't care about
Yeah.
the Snapcaster Mage.
No.
So. Yeah, Noble Hierarchs, they do a lot of work. That Exalted ability is no joke. So 3 mana here. There is a Plague Engineer. And that's pretty good because he gets to take out the Nobles, block something with that touch. Alright, so the Nobles are dead. We'll attack the Oko down to 4.
So now we're probably... I doubt we're hanging back. I think we're
agree.
probably attacking with a 3/3 Elk Food and then leaving Dried Arbor to block the Snapcaster Mage so it can't attack again.
Right. And then that's important because the Plague Engineer being 2 power, he could potentially attack Oko for 4 and bring it to 1, and then both 2 power attackers can kill it the following turn. The thing I hate most about Oko is just how much loyalty it has. Like, you have to think about your attack plan against it, like 2-3 turns ahead. Like, what's his loyalty going to be if he makes the food?
We didn't attack.
Yet.
No, it's already Grant's turn. No, I mean Sam didn't attack.
Oh, sure. Again, maybe thinking, like, I just want my Oko to survive.
Yeah, I was thinking we were in a position where Sam was the one that was in a hurry to get the game over with, but he disagrees, and maybe he's right.
Was that 3 Ponders on top? Did he draw a Ponder off the strikes and there were 3 Ponders? I think he might have. Which is, what are the odds of that in a 60 card deck?
Low.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could figure it out given
some amount of time.
given 30 seconds in a calculator or 4 minutes and some paper, but
All right, so let's see what Grant can draw off this Ponder. Chat questioning, what was named with Plague Engineer? Can we find that out? Okay, he did name Human, which is relevant because there are a few other humans in the deck. I think Safekeeper is a human, right?
well, off the top of my head, I do not know, but that doesn't seem impossible.
There's a Swords on the Elk, and this will be an attack for 4. All right, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. Grant has 3 power on board, and Oko is going to go to 5. It's just so hard to attack this thing down.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems like this Oko should not be able to beat the creatures that are on the board, but it can.
Yeah.
Go to 5, make a food. Go to 2, go to 3, make an Elk, and then stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the math on this card alone, without even playing with it, just makes me so frustrated. All right, so Grant's last card is a Force of Will, and he drew 5th land, so now he can hard cast it.
So Sam can disrupt that with the Wasteland preemptively if he feels the need.
Right. Doesn't look like he's going to take that line.
What is this? Cool.
Questing Beast. And, yep, a little bit of a mistake on Sam's part.
Yeah.
Had he wasted, he would have been able to
That hurts.
for sure cast that. So now we get an Elk pass. And
That was incredibly significant.
now these attacks are bad.
Yeah, but the
Is that a Liliana the Last Hope? I think it might be. If that's the case, attack first. Oh, I would have attacked first. I think I would have attacked first. Maybe not.
no, because now we can make the Elk a 1/2, and
Right.
then, yeah, no, whoop.
Yeah, he's making sure that it didn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't -1/-1.
Right. Oh my goodness, how different is this game if Sam Wastelands him?
Oh, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, because the Questing Beast not only it can't even get blocked, and it just picks off the Liliana.
Right.
Okay, so now we have Oko on 2. Now
And
actually
that's a Veil of Summer was the pickup.
close to vulnerable. We can it's still gonna live.
Still lives for a turn. Yep. Oh man, this card is so good. There is Grant's own Oko, and now we can kill it by making an Astral able to attack.
Yeah.
You just go everything at Oko.
No, I'm comfortable with this. Just leaving the engineer back.
Okay. Even though
Although
Sam's gonna have a swords.
I mean, it's true if he left them in, which he might have.
I assume you need to deal with some of these
Deathless
permanents,
creatures, yeah.
like Plague Engineer.
Mm-hmm. Well, Grant has certainly managed to handle this mold of 5, mold of 5 pretty well. And
There's Tatiana.
I think this is too late.
There is a Veil of Summer in Sam's hand, so if Grant does have something like a Thoughtseize,
Mm-hmm.
but I do.
But we're gonna have to get going. I mean, Liliana ultimate's at 7, and I don't think Sam's beating that ultimate. So
yeah, that does seem like a difficult one.
this is gonna be
the -7 on that.
need to get going pretty quickly here.
Grant gets an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. Put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is 2+ the number of zombies you control. So my challenge to chat is: how many turns does it take in order to get 100 zombies?
Well, while they're working on that, chat also questioning on the Wasteland play with the questing beast. Maybe he's doing to play around days. The players have access to each other's deck lists here, so Sam knows that there are no dazes in Grant's deck.
Right, and something like a Spell Pierce. There's nothing, nothing really relevant other than Force of Will. I think.
Grant takes Liliana down to pick up Snapcaster Mage, and that's fine. Snapcaster Mage is a valuable card. Sam doesn't have a lot going on.
Well, there is a hymn, if
but
you remember.
I'm not sure I would give up the potential Liliana ultimate.
Yeah.
Because Sam doesn't have a card that deals with that outside of combat.
Right.
And we have the board kind of locked up with 2 death creatures right now.
Yeah, there's nothing like a deputy of detention or anything like that to clean up all those zombies.
I don't know. I think Grant is looking in reasonably good shape here, but I do not agree with I think he could be better off.
We'll see. And he didn't go with Snap Him. So
okay, so maybe there's Drown Lock in the graveyard and sword, so we're just sitting on a removal spell. But
so Sam's gonna need a 6th mana in order to have Tatiana plus the Veil of Summer.
And even if he had a 6th land, it's possible he holds up the Wasteland instead. No, the other Wastelands in the graveyard.
Well, he knows about the Snap now, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah.
So he's gonna play and make sure he has the appropriate amount of mana.
Yeah.
Now there's always that risk that Grant draws something like a Drown in the Lock, and then he'll go for, something like a Snap Him instead.
Yeah, but that's okay. Grant needs more mana to be able to pull that off. The Veil's going to protect us right now. The problem is that the board is bad news.
Right. This will be attack for, 6, 8, 9 damage from Grant? So it's not quite a 2... Well, it would be a 2-turn clock because he'd make a food next turn and then an elk the following turn. So Sam is going to need to do probably something.
Chad asking what's the payoff in Sam's deck. There is a Dark Depths Thespian stage, singleton copies to make Merit Lage, but really it's just kind of a value creature deck. It's a green-white deck splashing Oko that just kind of wins by overwhelming your opponent with stuff.
Yeah,
with
Tireless Tracker, Knight of the Reliquary.
It's just
constantly generating so much value that your opponent can't come back from.
Putting material on the board until the opponent can't keep up with it. And he's done fairly well with it this weekend. He won his pod yesterday. He won his semifinal match in Legacy today.
Yes. Yeah, this has been an impressive deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It does seem, we talked about it a little bit with him today. It seems a little soft against combo game 1, but combo is not, too prevalent currently in Legacy and not in this field. So it worked out very well for him.
So Sam has decided that he just needs to jam the Tatiana. And we're going to see Snap Titania. Excuse me. Thank you, Director. And so we're seeing Snap Brainstorm. Oh, right. He doesn't have Astrolabe anymore. He can't generate white mana for the Swords to Plowshares.
Sure. The Drown in the Lock, maybe there's no Drown in there anymore. I thought there was.
I think that was last game.
Oh, okay.
So there we see Titania, Protector of Argoth. When she enters the battlefield, return land card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and wherever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you gain a 5/3 elemental.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that if there wasn't the ability to hard counter in Grant's graveyard, then getting back Snapcaster Mage may have been a pretty serious mistake, because Liliana being, if Liliana right now is at 6 going up to 7 this turn,
He could certainly
he
protect
could
it.
chump block across the board and then ultimate, and I don't think Sam's beating that.
Yeah, Sam doesn't have any copies of something like Abrupt Decay in this list. Let's see what Grant can come up with.
So Veil's being cast here in response to, I looked down from, I believe it's in response to the Liliana activation. Is that the Oko plus? Sure. So he doesn't get to draw a card off of that because there wasn't a spell cast.
But now permanents he controls have hexproof.
And Liliana will pick up on nothing. And then Sam has, well, an attacker, and then the ability to create several more.
Yeah, the Wasteland will definitely give him 1/5/3. We're going to see a Ponder cast from Grant. Look at the top 3. I think they saw an... I think that's an Oko. I can't tell. But either way, we're going to shuffle. What does Oko do? Says OG Mud Chicken. The first response is too much.
OG Mud Chicken perhaps had taken most of the year off from Magic, but that's okay.
He was hibernating through Eldrazi Winter, and now he's... So here we see Oko, Thief of Crowns. He's 1 green blue. +2, create a food token. +1, target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. And then -5, he can exchange control of target artifact or creature you control with a target creature an opponent controls that's power 3 or less. And the big thing, he starts at 4.
Starts at 4. The big thing goes up to 6.
Yeah.
Pluses to make 3/3. This card is extraordinarily powerful. If you have not seen in action this year, there are players making the argument that this is the strongest Planeswalker ever printed.
I think, which I honestly agree with. Just the numbers on it make me think that. Like the ability to play Oko plus on their thing on an empty board, that 3/3 can't kill Oko on the next turn, and it can't kill it on the next turn after that.
Right.
And that to me,
It is common to talk about can a Planeswalker defend itself.
Right.
Oko goes way beyond whatever the minimum bar is to meet that criteria.
All right, so Sam picks up a Green Sun Zenith, and I think that's also a Spell Pierce at the end there.
Zenith for Safekeeper would allow quite a few more 5/3s.
Yes, it would. And it is it's going to be a Green Sun for 1, so I think Safekeeper is probably the target. And we're going to see a Drown in the Lock in response.
Well, that won't get around Spell Pierce. So,
very handy.
Again, not that.
Oh,
okay.
Targeting Titania.
Interesting.
Wow. Do we can waste in response?
Is it? The Wasteland sitting there for Sam Black has now potentially mattered twice.
Right.
Because the Spell Pierce would be able to counter this Drown in the Lock, and the Questing Beast probably would have resolved.
Yeah.
This game would be very different if that Wasteland had been fired off earlier. I mean,
At the same time,
there's arguments for not done it.
Yeah.
But the game would have played out very differently.
Sure. He wouldn't have been able to cast a powerful 5-mana card without the Wasteland, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one, but the first one would have resolved
Yes,
and maybe just handled things.
Definitely.
All right, so I believe we're wasting ourselves here.
Correct. Created 2 elementals, and then the Green Sun will go get a 1/1 or a 1-mana thing. Now the decision is, do I get Safekeeper?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we can get Safekeeper because the Plague Engineer is still on the board.
Oh, and that's a human, right?
And actually, so is the Hierarch.
Right.
So this Green Sun for 1 might actually have been an error.
Could get Dryad Arbor.
I think we have to. Anything else, so we're just thinning the deck.
So we're going to make sure if Sam does get that Noble Hierarch, we'll make sure that it does go to the graveyard. Did he take out Dryad Arbor? Okay, he's just going to immediately put it in the graveyard.
Yeah, I think
he realizes, but also kudos to him for not leaving it in the deck because it's a bad draw.
Yeah.
So
interesting. You think that so even though Sam Black is obviously a very strong player, my assumption, based on what just happened, is that he realized halfway through resolving that it wasn't
No,
going
no,
to work.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
But some players would say, well, I don't want it to just die. I'm going to leave it in my deck.
Sure.
I
Okay.
think Sam's making the right decision. I don't want to draw this card,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my graveyard right
Uh-huh.
away. Yes, but I agree. I don't think he realized it was going to die until that resolved.
Okay. No. So one of the 5/3s could have attacked there.
We still might see a Liliana ultimate.
That's true.
Something else to note: he could exchange Snapcaster Mage for a no. It's power, right? Not toughness.
It's
Yeah.
power.
Okay. Just got done reading the card, Brad. So he'll leave back the Death Touchers and he'll try to get in with those 3/3s. Is there any way for Sam to remove these blockers and like attack for 15 and like force?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right, Grant. Make sure you don't make any GRVs. All right, there's a Jace, which will get Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce fires off. That's a big Spell Pierce there. Sam, I think, is still behind, but that keeps him in the game.
Grant does not have a land for the Land of Shame. All right, so Roxy Elemental will be turned upside down.
Making it a 3/2, which is still big enough to actually trade with everything on.
It's
Grant's
kind of
board.
like when it's upside down. It's kind of like a backward 3/2 as well. Like if you were to flip the 3 and the 5, it'd be
Did we see a double attack there from Grant?
with 2 Elks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then the Force of Will pitching Snapcaster Mage will counter this Oko. So this Mox Diamond has just rotted in Sam's hand this whole game.
Okay, so we're thinking, all right, trading the 2 Death Touchers to 2 5/3s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just going to hope that yeah, okay. This attack actually seems pretty good.
Yep.
All right, so Sam attacking Liliana there, and you're going to get away. But yeah, getting in for 6 damage there actually worked out fairly well. I like the attack now that I think about it more, because the 2 Death Touch creatures, I don't know that I'm wild about trading off the Plague Engineer.
Sure.
But okay.
It does allow for like the Safekeeper to get in. So this is an attack for 8.
Wow.
Which will bring Sam to 4.
So this is kind of a free... No, it isn't. Okay. Oh, because this is not a 3/3. This is not a 5/3.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you block the Snapcaster Mage, the Liliana would kill the 5/3.
Yes. Okay. No, Grant taking advantage of his Planeswalker's abilities, whereas I was thinking that he's just going to sit back and wait for Liliana to win the game. He's taking a much more proactive approach, and it's working fine. And now we're going down on Liliana again.
I think we're going to get a Baleful Strix.
Yeah, we are. You are correct.
Well, it seems pretty good. All right. Draws a card and picked up, I think, a Hymn. And we're going to Elk a Food. And this is looking like lethal through anything.
Yeah.
No, we can.
I mean, a lot of Sam's heavy cards are gone already, too.
Right,
That
so
could try and get him out of that.
So Grant Wozniak going to win in the Legacy portion of the final. So potentially 2 more formats to go. But that is Legacy down.
All right, so let's see. So now Sam is going to get to go first, which means Grant is going to choose the format that he thinks he's better off in going second.
Right.
Out of the 2. And we have Grixis Death Shadow versus Simic Urza.
Yes.
And 5-color Niv Mizzet versus Simic Company.
Right.
And I think we're probably going to go to a break in a few minutes. Maybe we'll stay here and talk about it a little bit. But for you at home viewing, you can think to yourself, if you know you're going second, would you rather play Niv Mizzet? Wait, I'm sorry, I'm going to get this straight. Death Shadow. Would you rather go second with Death Shadow versus Urza, or 5-color Niv Mizzet going second against Simic Company in Pioneer?
And just to add to this, so the thing I think of is the Simic Company deck does not have elves. The Simic Urza deck has Opal and Gilded Goose.
Right.
So I think Modern going first is going to be much more important than the Simic Company. But at the same time, there's it's standard.
So you expect the next match to be Pioneer?
Pioneer. I do expect the next match to be a Pioneer. But we're going to take a quick break, switch out our commentators so the other team can get in, and we will figure out what format it's going to be. We'll see you in just a few minutes.